Good evening, everyone. I hope everybody's doing good. Um, it is dark outside. We're still in winter. I'm Katrina. This is Sow and Tare live chat. We do this every Monday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time. So welcome. I see some regulars here. If you are new or watching this in the replay, let us know where you're from, what you're growing, what you're wanting to grow, and we have a topic of discussion that we'll get into partway through. But first, let's say hi to everybody. All right. Jennifer's here. Welcome, Jennifer. Good evening to everyone. I hope I'm still awake when it starts. Well, you were here an hour ago. My goodness. Hopefully, you're still here. Welcome. Eric's here. Welcome, welcome. You have some little faces there. Okay. Dawn says, good evening. We got 9 inches of snow after an ice storm. I was going to ask about people's situations with that humongous storm going on right now. We don't have anything at all here. We had rain yesterday a little bit, like a little bit. And then we're supposed to be pretty dry for a little bit. So it's your guys' turn. But hopefully everybody's okay. Hopefully power stays on and all that. Welcome, Dawn. And PJ's here. Welcome, PJ. Good evening, my friends. I'll wait for a few minutes. Snacking on marshmallows. PJ, I just had some marshmallows. Yeah, I had some marshmallows like right before I came on. So yeah, if we're wondering about what we're doing with marshmallows, we made marshmallows last month for the Cook With Me Live, and I just realized I did not put up a pick a date thing. So if you are new to the channel, you might not know what's going on. We do a Cook With Me live chat, and it's becoming a member of the channel. We call it Katrina's Kits. It's a fun name somebody came up with on here. And if you'd like to join, go ahead and click that link. I know Jennifer. I think you were trying to join last time. Is that the same Jennifer? And hopefully figure it out. I don't think I see that on your name though. So anyway, the link is there and it's also in the description of all the videos. And so hopefully that works. This next time we're making lasagna, and so I'm gonna put it out for the weekend of the 18th and 19th, and I think I might prefer Sunday, but I'll put a little thing out for the 18th or 19th because I think pretty much everybody said they didn't have any conflicts. So 18th or 19th of this month, we are making lasagna, and we'll be making the noodles as well. If you don't want to make the noodles, then you can buy the noodles, but we'll be making the noodles as well. So in fact, I'm going to put 18th and 19th. I'm gonna make a note in here. 18 or 19, not both. Cook with me live. Okay, it's in my calendar. I just have to put it on the on there, and you guys can see that. Okay. Everybody's saying hi. Don says I can't type. Got a big band-aid on my thumb. Oh no. Hopefully it's a band-aid that won't be on your thumb for long. Hopefully it's a fast healing thumb you got there. Goodness. Hey Buster. Buster says hey to all. Welcome. Oh, Don says, 9 inches is not humongous. It's feet you need to worry about. Right, but it's a humongous storm. There's we're getting news about it here. So yeah. Yeah. All right. Adam's here. Welcome, Adam. Hello to everyone, he says. Hello, hello. Hopefully you're ready for a little bit of a dry spell here. Get the ground dried up a little bit. PJ says, great minds think alike. Yes, we do. And marshmallows are still good. All right, Homestead Matters. Welcome, welcome. Well, happy Monday to everyone. Hope y'all doing well. Crazy egg prices, huh? I Bought eggs at the store. I don't even remember what they were. They were not the crazy price that they were. I have a friend who lives in the town that I used to live in, and at Grocery Outlet, which is a discount, like cheaper grocery store, it was a dozen eggs for $9.99, which is ridiculous. But my ladies, i.e., I think just Rexy, and maybe Smilo a couple times. I don't know. They are starting to somewhat lay again. So we'll see once they get into it. They're going to be 4 years old this St. Patrick's Day. Yes, my girls were hatched on St. Patrick's Day. So they're going to be 4 years old this year. So their egg laying should be kind of slowing down, I think. But I do expect, once I get organized, not right now, to be hatching out a few more chickens and then also quail once I get a whole bunch of other stuff figured out. So, yeah, eggs are coming back. Eggs are coming back slowly. All right. How much were egg prices where you are? Homestead Matters. All right, everybody's saying hi. Yeah, Dawn, did you hear that from me? $9 a dozen? Yeah, it's crazy. Hey, Steve, welcome. Thought I'd come hang out. That is good. We like it when you hang out. Good. All right. Shawnee Rose, welcome. Good evening, all, she says. All right, PJ says I'm good any weekend. All right, everybody's saying hi. No, they don't. So Steve is asking a question about noodles. Don't the noodles have to rest or dry out overnight? They don't. No. You can make noodles right away to eat right away. And that same recipe you can dry out and use later. So it doesn't have to dry out. You do have to cook it. So when you make noodles, I think I've only done noodles on this channel on the Cook With Me Live, haven't I? Yeah, I think I have. Okay. So when you do noodles, it's a very simple recipe, or there's very simple ingredients, and you basically mix everything together, knead it together, put it into you can actually roll it out if you want, but I use a attachment for my KitchenAid, and it's a pasta roller, and it can get it different thicknesses and all that. Once you have it to the thickness you like, and you put it through the next thing, or it cuts it, or you can cut it with a knife. First time I made pasta, I made it out of miner's lettuce as one of the ingredients. I had green pasta, and I did that. I rolled it out before I had all the stuff. So I rolled it out, I cut it up, I put a sheet on the floor and spread them out. And yeah, so you don't really need all the fancy equipment, but it's easier. So once it's there, once the dough is done, once it's thin, once it's cut, that's the point where you dry it. So, and by dry it, it's air drying. So if you air dry it, in most environments, I think, then that would be good, because it doesn't get cooked until it gets boiled. So I believe this is true with the noodles you buy from the store, that they're raw as well. They're just, dehydrated, basically dried. And so if you do that process and dry it, it's going to cook in boiling water, and then you have your pasta. But you don't have to dry it right away, because if you don't dry it right away, your pasta's ready in like 2 minutes. It doesn't have to rehydrate in order to cook. So what's happening when you have dry noodles is it's rehydrating first, and then it's cooking. So noodles actually cook very quickly, fresh. Yeah, good question though. I don't know where Verna is, but I also haven't. She hasn't texted me, but I haven't checked Facebook yet. I know they had a lot of snow, and she said it was hard to walk with Lucy. So I don't know if maybe they went for a walk and not back in yet, or hopefully she's doing good. Hopefully she's doing good. All right. Homestead Matter says Eugene, Oregon had, well, that's where you are. That's right. Had $7.50 for a dozen at grocery outlet. Cannot believe it. Yep. Yep. I bought some at my local store a while ago because buying eggs. Oh my gosh. And it wasn't at 7. I think it might have been at 5 something at that point. Which for store bought, for farm grown, that's fine. But for store bought, been in the fridge for a while, it's not the greatest price. PJ says my silkies are the only chickens laying, but still have plenty of quail. Good. Oh my gosh. Don says $4.39 a dozen right now at Aldi. I think I'll buy from the farmer. Oh, you heard it on something today because they killed more chickens. Yeah. I don't think they kill more chickens on purpose to make the eggs go up. I think they kill the chickens because of avian influenza. I did not read this article that you read, but yeah, that's avian influenza is back, and it seems like in force. It seems like it's going to be another year that people should be paying attention to this. So, avian influenza is typically transferred from wild populations to domestic populations by way of waterfowl. So waterfowl, ducks, geese, that kind of thing, they can get it and it doesn't kill them. So it's kind of like us getting a cold. We can pass it on, but okay, it was a cold. Whereas the avian influenza, when it gets into the chickens, and I believe quail, but I'm going to talk about chickens because that's the one I know. Then once it gets into the chickens, it can be very deadly. It's like 90% deadly or something like that. So the goal of them exterminating those individuals is so that it doesn't pass it throughout, the rest of basically they're going to die anyway. How does it get into these closed facilities? That is nearly 100% by people. So a lot of these chicken places that have for eggs and stuff, these chickens are never going outside. Even the free range ones, they're walking in a big tent that moves. Like it's not generally like what people treat as at farms, but you can bring in poo on your shoe. And so even in places that are fairly biosecure, someone can screw up. I mean, a couple years ago when it was big, again, people would change clothes between work and home when they did that. When they went, if they work at a processor and they have chickens at home. And so that would be like the normal thing. So avian influenza is something that is and has been in the wild population for many, 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 many years. Some of you guys may remember Newcastle's disease was a thing in the news way, way, way long time ago. I didn't have birds at that time, so I didn't pay attention as much as probably people that had birds. But birds have diseases in the wild, and it goes through the population every once in a while. And what's different about the avian influenza that is most recent is it's highly, what do they call it? Highly infectious, I think. It has a higher rate of infecting birds than than other varieties. So yeah, that's something to pay attention to. If you have birds, and especially if you have a pond or a lake on your property or near your property, that's a heads up. And then you might want to start treating your boots or with alcohol, or there's alcohol, there's Quadnoff, there's bleach, there's all sorts of things that you can treat your boots, your equipment, everything like that. I mean, it depends on how thorough you want to be, and then um, yeah. So anyway, I am not an expert in keeping your birds safe from avian influenza, but it is spread by the bodily fluids. So that could be poop, and it could be aerial from the mouth. So if you have birds that are right next to your aviary, or birds that are out with your flock when they're foraging, then that could be a potential risk. And there's risk for them to get other diseases from wild birds too. It's just this one basically is almost not 100%, but it's deadly. So anyway, yep, it's back. Dawn says, I dried my pasta, but it was best fresh, or I also froze it, not dried, and it was good too. Yeah, it's really good fresh. Yeah. Steve says, why are y'all's eggs so pricey? Ours is $3.69 a dozen. I don't know. I don't know. Homestead Matter says Oregon passed a law that eggs need to be cage free. Yes, but cage free doesn't necessarily mean what it sounds like it means. So I haven't looked at the definition for Oregon. I just know when I got my, I don't have it yet for Oregon because I have 3 chickens that aren't laying right now. But when I had my small egg producers license in California, I was pretty surprised what actually counts as free range and, cage free and stuff. Like they have the definitions there, and it's not what you would commonly think it was. So yeah, it's better than them having just enough room to stand up and turn around and sit down, because that's what a lot of places at least used to have and probably still do. When California passed the law against that, it had to have so much room. It's still pretty restrictive, but they had to have so much room to be able to do that. A lot of other states changed the way they do things because they shipped to California. So that in my memory, that's the first of that kind of fight or whatever. Not a fight, but an improvement on the quality for the animal was through that. Now, I'm not on the East Coast, so I don't know what happens on the East Coast, but for me, that was my understanding. And then yeah, other states followed suit. It's the right thing to do. Come on, guys. Okay. But that definition is, I don't know what it is for Oregon, but look it up. Yeah, because it might not be exactly what you think it is. Brenda's here. You're all right. You're all right. Everybody's asking where you were. I said you're probably stuck in snow with Lucy. So I hope you guys are okay. I know you said it snowed quite a bit, so hopefully you're inside for the rest of the night. All right. Welcome. Verna is Vay's place. She's in blue with a little wrench, and she's my moderator. She catches all bad guys. And if you are growing in an apartment setting, check out her channel because she does a lot of that. All right. Dawn says, my eggs were $3 something last week. I just looked at local Aldi online. It said $4.39. I think my 2 friends still sell them for $2.99. Wow, $2.99? They must have cheap food, cheap feed. Yeah. The price of feed did not really change for me. I don't think at all between Oregon and California. I thought it might, but it didn't. All right. Okay. Homestead Matter says that was the only reason husband gave in to getting backyard chickens. So happy about it now. That's good. That's good. And I do recommend quail. I will get them again. I have a specific setup I want to do, and there's steps that you need to do to get there. So I will have them again. I recommend quail, especially, meat and eggs you can get in 8 weeks from hatch time. A chicken, you got to wait a long time. So yeah, interesting. It's interesting. Adam says $7.99 for 2 dozen at Costco, but then you have to drive, and you have to have a membership. All right. Our food supply is not as stable as we think it is. I will agree with you on that, Dawn. I do think that we need to be more responsible for our own food, which is what we talk about here, right? Food Forest Permaculture says, good evening. Good evening. Welcome. Yeah, so Steve says free range by law requires no more than a window where they can stick their head outside the barn. I think it's a little more detailed than that from what was on the application for the small egg producers license in California. It had like definitions that you could go through, but yeah, it's not like home on the range type free range. It's not like free range cattle, right? Yeah. Okay. And everybody's saying hi. Scrolling down. Did I scroll up far enough? Okay. Yeah, AI can take out your code very, very quickly. Yep. Things are challenging, but you're good. Good, Verna. Oh, Dawn's asking, did they clear your sidewalks of snow? To Verna. Yeah. Oh, you don't have to clear the sidewalks? But someone shoveled it. Okay, good. Good, because, yeah. How much snow did you get there? Steve said they're wondering if Verna cleared her sidewalk, would she get city employee pay? Steve, it's not how any city works. You're probably more likely to get fined by a city by doing something like that than rewarded. Dawn, your city clears all the sidewalks? No, that has always been a personal thing. So at least in California, that's my reference. That's the only place I've ever had a sidewalk. I grew up on an area without a sidewalk. I don't have a sidewalk here. The city and the owner of the property were both responsible for the sidewalks. But if your sidewalks were bumped up, you would get a notice from the city to fix it. They wouldn't fix it. You would have to fix it, then apply for a half reimbursement. And so it's like, okay, well, what if I did the work myself? How are you going to reimburse me then? But yeah, I've never heard of the city clearing sidewalks. You're lucky. You're lucky there. Because also, if someone trips on one of those, like if the root goes up, or like I had liquid ambers out in front of my old house before I took them out, and those are like the spiky balls. They look like maple leaves, but they're called liquid ambers. And those spiky balls, like people can twist ankles on those and all that. And I've heard stories of people suing the landowner for, spraining an ankle on their sidewalk. So, yeah. Anyway, tangent. PJ says all my animals are free range except for the quail. The mini zebu and llama mostly stay in the fence. And some animals stay in the house. That's good. Good. Homestead says the egg terms are so deceptive. They absolutely are, and I believe that is a disservice to even have it on the label. I mean, I think we should just say, here's how they're raised. There we go. Yeah. Just meant the law passed this year is the main cause of jacked up egg prices prior to the avian flu. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so they have to make changes. The egg producers have to make changes to either reduce their flock or provide additional space. So they're paying for that right now. I get what you're saying. Yeah. Yes, and Steve says in our area, the house or office has the responsibility of clearing the sidewalk itself and maintain them if they crumble and crack apart. Yeah, I've never heard the city maintaining that. Um, Dawn says, I have friends who have too many eggs, 2.99, and one friend has a drive up fridge at his house. You just pick them up for free. Okay. Not too far out in the boonies unless we're that's good. That's good. Use that. Um Verna says it's really strange. It was only my block and my side of the block that was shoveled with a small tractor or something. Maybe you have a secret admirer. Um yeah, you don't want to be out there shoveling, Verna. Well, in any case, I'm glad your walk is shoveled. 8 inches. All right. So Verna has 8 inches. Dawn has 9. I have 0, which is okay with me. And parking spaces. Oh my gosh. Dawn, you are spoiled. Verna says City gave the business a box of salt as they wanted everyone to use the same salt on the new sidewalks, but they didn't give me any yet. Why would that matter? I wonder if they're like is there a more pollutive salt? Interesting. Okay. Yeah, so Verna, that's more what I'm used to. She says in Lucas County, Ohio, you have to clean your sidewalks within 24 hours or you can be fined. That was 16 years ago. No, that sounds familiar. Same thing with raking leaves. So at my old place, I mean, I on purpose put in evergreen trees, and my neighbor's leaves came over to mine, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm sweeping up leaves anyway, but that's okay. Yeah. JJ's here. Welcome, JJ. We are looking at the 18th or 19th for the Cook With Me Live, and that is we're gonna make lasagna, including the noodles. Unless you want to buy noodles, then that's fine too. All right. Let me know if one of those days works better. Okay, Dawn says, if I shovel my sidewalk, then I am responsible if someone falls on ice. If I leave it and they fall, it's an act of God here where I live. This is town. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, exactly, BJ. I live out in the middle of nowhere, no sidewalks, no worries. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Uh, oh my gosh. Okay. Steve says down here in Mississippi, our sidewalk has a 45-mile-an-hour limit. Exactly, exactly. People go super fast by this house. Okay. PJ, I just learned something. Certain ice melts ruin cement. Okay. Interesting. They should just put in the warming coils underneath it, right? Mount Bachelor has that. The ski place. They have cement, and underneath it is it's warming coils, and so the cement is always like wet, no ice or anything. Pretty cool. Okay. One says there is no damage salt. I have it. It doesn't damage concrete or dog's paws. Okay. Salt melt. All right. I've never used salt because it doesn't make sense to me to use it if you can just sweep the snow or shovel the snow. And then it just goes off into the world and becomes saline. Yeah. Okay, PJ says I only use pet safe. ice melt because I have a lot of pets. Okay. Jane says we are responsible for our sidewalks, but if you shovel your walk and someone slips and gets hurt, you can be sued. Yeah. Yep. Food forest permaculture says good night, Earthlings. Good night. Sorry, we're talking about sidewalks. We should probably move the conversation to something else, huh? Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, okay. Don't shovel the walks. Got it. Hi, Carolina Kind. Welcome, welcome. Salt is to stop rain from freezing. Okay. It could be like my brother and get out the leaf blower and blow it all off. Yeah, that's my brother. Verna says coffee grounds for if it gets slick. Yeah, that works. All right. So I wanted to take today to say Happy New Year. I guess I hadn't seen not Happy New Year. I guess Happy New Year, comma. I guess I haven't seen you guys since the new year, and so there is a lot of stuff on my plate right now. I am still working on the year in review, working on it very slowly because things keep on coming up, and it's just a lot of the things happening at once right now. And then also I have plans. You guys have heard my plans. I'm not making resolutions. And I just want to, I have goals, I guess. I have goals. They've been the same goals that I've had starting last year. So there you go. But what I want to do is I want to talk about what you guys would like to see. If you want to see anything different, if you guys want to see more of something, less of something. We've been having lots of rabbit stuff happening. And I want to ask you about that. And yeah, let me know. Let me know. All right. Calcium chloride better for concrete. Okay. John says you can tell you haven't lived in icy cold weather. I've lived in snowy cold weather, and I've lived in the Midwest, where it definitely ices, but I have not been ever a fan of salt. Where I grew up as well, they didn't salt the roads. They use cinder, so it's a different thing. It's basically lava rock that is put out on the road, and that is fine because the rest of the hill is made of the same thing. So when that goes on the side of the road, it really doesn't do anything environmentally. So yeah. Verna says, Katrina laughed as two different people were using leaf blowers across the street. On my brother's, apparently there was like a heat setting. So like people do this. Although, he's really tall, and so he's like leaning over like this. I'm like, you should invent something so you don't have to lean over. Oh my gosh, a flamethrower? My goodness, Steve. My goodness. All right, Steve says, speaking of goals, how's the leveling going? It is going good. It's a slow process, but they're getting things leveled. One of the walls came up a little bit when it was supposed to, so they're figuring that out. But as I keep telling them, as long as it's good in the end, well, I'm not going to get upset or anything. Apparently, they have a new guy on the crew, not new, but hadn't done this kind of stuff, and he was concerned because there was cracks at the corners of the doors and stuff. I'm like, no, I knew that was happening. I knew that was going to be a thing that happens when you lift a house. It's the drywall. It's not the house. It's cracking. Hopefully, knock on wood. But yeah, it's going well. They probably have another week, I'm going to guess. They have a lot of the temporary supports in, and then just working on the fine adjustments underneath the fireplace. It did crack a little, so I don't know if that cracked all the way through or not, but they kind of stopped at that point, and they were going to do that when they came back. So that probably needs to have a bunch of jacks going up at once, supporting the whole thing. I think that's how I would do it, at least, is to have a bunch of people on jacks and everybody goes, okay, 1, 2. So anyway, everything's fixable, which is good. And the only damage I'm seeing is the little cracks, and that's expected, and that's drywall, and it's totally fixable. Anything else? Yeah, they're doing all right. I mean, it's weird because I can step down out of the house. It used to be a step like this big, and now it's a step like this big. So yeah, they moved quite a bit. Thank you for asking. All right. Adam says, I just looked up Oregon law on commercial egg layers. Minimum cage space is 0.8 square feet per hen, not cage-free regs. Interesting. Because I know, at least in California, I think it was 1 foot by 1 foot, which is basically what a nest. So, okay, there's 2 different ways to think about this. One cage space is 0.8 square feet, or is it 0.8 square feet per bird? Because those are 2 different things. 0.8 square feet per bird means that that bird has 0.8 square feet. But if there's 100 square feet and there's 100 birds, or even if there's 80 birds, then they have more room to go. So there's 2 different ways to look at that, and it depends on the exact language. Yeah. And again, I haven't looked it up. I'm not planning on keeping birds that way. Okay. Don says, hubby had put out trash bags on his boots. I remember putting bread bags on her feet to the shed to take out the snowblower. Our ice stays for weeks, and this batch will be here good 2 weeks. Yeah, I have not lived in an area that has just plain ice. I've had ice storms that are there for a few days and go away, but yeah. JJ, isn't that the same as 8 square inches? An eighth of 12. There you go. Yeah, bread bags. Yeah, I remember doing that, and I don't remember, like, I don't know why we wouldn't have had snow boots. I wonder if that was like when we were visiting someone when we didn't have snow boots or something, or if that was, I don't remember if that was a regular that everything everybody did or what. Yeah. All right. So, the bunnies are good. Rigatoni had babies. Not Rigatoni. She already has babies. Penne has had babies, and they are, well, I know what kept socks dry. I just don't know why we didn't have snow boots on, because that would replace snow boots, JJ. So I'm going to do a video. I don't think I'm going to talk about it here, but I'm going to do a video. I'll probably turn off monetization for that video to talk about the shocking things you might see while raising rabbits. And one of them is recycling of nutrients, and I'm not going to explain that right now on the live. And the other is, well, I guess it's recycling nutrients no matter what. When they eat their poop is another one. That's called coprophagia. That's digestion that's needed. But anyway, so she has 5 babies alive. They are doing well. They have pudgy bellies. I was a little worried about that when I checked them the first time. They didn't really have that much of a pudgy belly. And what you want to have on baby rabbits is what's called a milk belly. And if you've ever seen a puppy when they're so fat that they can't roll over, That's what you're looking for ideally. Yeah, ideally, you're going to see this rabbit that's just like poochy, has milk belly, and is just going to like sit there and digest and grow. They don't have their eyes open. They don't, can't see where they're going. So they're basically snuggling, eating, and, you know, going to the bathroom. So that's something good to see. Risotto hasn't had hers yet, which I'm kind of surprised. But we might be rebreeding. So I was going to rebreed rigatoni a while ago. Usually I rebreed it 3 weeks, but then I was like, well, maybe since her and Ravioli are off, well, let's just see what's going on. And so now I'm just going to wait to see if Risotto has any. If she doesn't, then I'll rebreed them a day apart and go from there. That way they can have babies together, and then Ravioli gets her nest box next Monday. I thought it was going to be sometime this week, but it's next Monday. I just checked. And so, yeah, we have lots of bunny stuff coming up. Yeah, there's lots of stuff. If you guys saved your bone broth, not bone broth, if you guys saved your turkey, your ham, or whatever, we're going to make some bone broth. I did that already, but that's going to be tomorrow's video. So get your bones out of the freezer and you can follow along. And so I wanted to make sure I got that in like right after the holidays. I probably should do it before the holiday next year. I think it's probably a bit better idea, right? Anyway, there you go. Let's go up here. Dawn says 9 inches of snow with 2.5. 2 to 12? And what does that say? Does that say 2 to 12 foot drifts? Or does that say 2.5 drifts? He should have put the snowblower in the garage instead of the shed. Yeah, so you can get to it. All right, we're doing math. You guys are doing math. I'm not doing math. All right. Britta says, when you first checked them, they didn't have much belly, too. That is why she was worried about you checking your kits. No, I think so. With Penne, her and I don't have the greatest relationship. She was going to be meat. She was going to be dinner. Her and Risotto were going to be dinner. So I think she might have been 7 weeks old when their mom died. Tortellini died. She had a stroke. I was with her when it happened. And at that point, I'm like, well, I need a new breeder. And both of these are female. She only had a litter of 2 that were alive. And so she, oh, that's the Jennifer that is member. Welcome to the membership, Jennifer. Let me finish the story, then we'll talk stuff. And so she, you might notice, I don't film her as much. Record, we have no film anymore. But she will always, like, whenever I put something into her space, she always go like this, and she puts her ears back, and she's really like, what are you doing? What do you have? And I think she's timid. I think she's a little bit concerned every time. Now, you guys know, if you've been watching the channel for a long time, I've tried to, especially early on, hold both of them and try and socialize with them. And it really is, I think, really important to do that in the first weeks of life, not after that. So I think they're both a little standoffish. Risotto actually likes to be pet. She doesn't like to be pet on her head or her ears, which is so weird because every rabbit loves that. But she likes to get her like right here scratched. And it took me a while to figure out, and she didn't like being touched here. And she never came over for it. I had to like reach over and start petting her, and then she'd be like, oh no, here. but she liked it when I was doing that. With Penne, she doesn't really ever like being pet. So I think that's just her personality. She did lunge at me once early on when we came here. And I was like, whoa, that's never happened before. What's with that? And um, so I'm careful. I'm a little more careful around her than other ones, but um, yeah, never had an issue with any of them besides her lunging at me. Well, Ravioli bit my friend who came over to learn how to transfer the bunnies, and he surprised her. That's what he said. I was surprised that she actually bit him, but it wasn't like a grr bite. It was like, oh my gosh. I thought she just looked up, but I think she just got startled. Anyway, he's okay. He's recovered. um, but yeah, that's I think she just wants to know what's going on, and she's concerned. I think that's all that's going on. And she's been a good mom. So we'll see how this year goes and see if I'm gonna keep her as a breeder. All right. PJ says bread bags keep socks dry until feet sweat. Yep. Yep. Oh my gosh. Yep. Yep. Ditch the bags after a little bit. Yep. Um, exactly. So PJ says my bones still have meat attached. I don't know if that means you haven't cooked it yet, or if it just has meat attached. And it's going to make you a nice, tasty broth if it still has meat attached. So that's okay. Um, okay, 2 to 2.5 feet. That's what I thought it said, but then it said 12, and I was like, "Ooh, are you in Wyoming?" um, Hi, Jennifer. Welcome. Good evening. What time will you be on tomorrow? What? What's happening tomorrow? Tomorrow. Did I promise something and never didn't do it? I don't know what's happening tomorrow. You're going to have to fill me in. But I wanted to say we're looking at the 18th or 19th of this month to make lasagna. And we're making the noodles too, unless you want to buy the noodles, and I will get that recipe out once I find my cookbook. It's in that room. Yeah. So let me know if one day works better than the other. 11 o'clock a.m. Pacific time is when we typically do things. Yeah. All right. Okay, Steve says 12 times 12 is 144, times 0.8 is 115.2 square inches, times what? What are we doing? Okay. Yeah. If you want to read math, read Steve's comment. Smarty pants, exactly, like PJ said. Okay. JJ says my regular winter boots are 9-inch high and the snow is deeper before drifting, so I didn't bother to wear socks. You need to get some thigh high snow boots, huh? Anybody have a snow bib? You remember snow bibs? I actually got, I don't think it's called snow bib anymore. Well, I have my old one, but it doesn't fit. But I got actual like overall bibs for rain, and like it's like canvas stuff. It's not plasticky, but that could be used in snow for sure. I don't know how long it takes to soak through, but yeah. Yep. All right. You guys are calculating things. Yeah, snow goes down to your boots. Might as well go barefoot, JJ. Oh my gosh. It's 21 degrees. He got his boots stuck with thick socks on. I let him work his own way out. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. All right. Good night, PJ. Good night. Good night. Yeah, better than having soggy socks. Maybe. Maybe. Let me just wrap with saran wrap. Oh boy. Okay, Adam says, haha, Steve, the current measurement is 116.3 square inches. Oh, you guys are doing math. Okay. Okay. Oh, snowblower for 3 hours straight? Goodness. Goodness. There you go. I like Steve's answer. If I had 12 inches of snow, I wouldn't go out beyond the windows to see it. Yep. Or pair of waders. Exactly, Verna. That's your thigh-high boots, your waders. Right? Yep. Yep. Oh my gosh. 19th. Okay. So we are looking at the 19th for our lasagna making. I will give people to the end of the live to decide, and then it's, if I had a gavel, I would gavel it. I don't know. Is that a verb? Let me write that down because I think I put my notes in the 18th. All right. 19th. Let's change that. 19. 19. Okay, that's a Sunday. Save. All right. That was my vote too, but I like to give people options. Okay, let's see if anybody says otherwise. He said definitely needed those bags and thick socks. Yep, yep. Snow pants and snow gaiters. Yes, yes, yes. I have snow gaiters as well. I know where they are. I think I know where they are. Okay. Don says he wears a Carhartt insulated jumpsuit. That's, I think, what I have. I think that's what I have. I call his monkey suit. Oh, Verna says I was dreaming of snowshoes for me and Lucy. I like going snowshoeing, but you do need like more than this much to have it to be worth it. Yeah, snowshoeing is good. I'm not sure how Lucy would do on snowshoes, but it would be fun to see her try. All right. Okay, you guys are mathing. Oh, yeah, I'm laughing at Lucy and snowshoes too, JJ. JJ says you can make snow gaiters out of sleeves of old large coats. That is a good idea. Except that you have to get them on and they go over your boots and then tie, right? I think my old one snapped. I think the ones I have now is Velcro. I think. I don't remember. Yeah. You were acting the same day I did. Yep. Yep. All right. So nobody's answered my question, so I guess I'm doing okay without changes, huh? What are snow gators? So do you know what snake gators are, Dawn? We're not talking about alligators. Just realized that you might have thought there's alligators in the snow. No, these are mythical creatures. Snow gators or gators in general, you can use them for areas that have a lot of seeds that go into your socks and stuff. It's something that you put over your boot and your pants that basically seals it together. And it's usually no, it's usually um, it's either Velcro or snaps. I don't know if anybody makes zipper ones, but I'm sure they exist. But they usually attach onto like the lace of your boot, or some of them go around the bottom of the boot. There's a lot of different ways you can attach them. That way you don't get snow or uh, if you have the ones for like hiking and stuff, it keeps ticks out of that area, and also the stickers from grass. And so it connects there. And there you go. Yeah, there you go. Oh. All right, JJ says mine used to be snaps and or elastic. Yeah. Steve says I was trying to figure it out if you got your snow gators from Louisiana. Yeah, good to keep out ticks too. Exactly. I probably should find mine because I'm feeling that I'm gonna have to deal with that here. Oh, C says, until I looked it up, snow gators. Think of a waterproof sock that goes over your boots to your knees. It doesn't have to go all the way to your knees. They make big ones and small ones, but it's, yeah, so they go high, but then they also go over your boot. And some of them go all the way down, kind of most of the boot, and some of them just go to the ankle of the boot. Yeah. And JJ says, snow gators are waterproof, snake gators are snake bite proof, unless they bite above or below it. But there are also other gators for things like ticks and grass seeds and stuff like that. Marissa says, I have men's tube socks to go up to my knees, covering my pants so the snow doesn't soak my pant legs. That's good. Men's tube socks, huh? How tall are men's tube socks? Oh, gators rock, says JJ. Yep. Yep. They're interesting to hike in, and then you get used to them. So, yeah, that. But it definitely keeps you, it keeps you free of some stuff. So that's good. In case anybody wants to know, this is English breakfast tea with honey. I have one more tea bag of this and one more tea bag of some sort of black tea mixture. And then that container will be gone. I am drinking through my teas. All right. Adam says, some fun math. What's the square root of delicious? Oh, what's the square root of pie? Delicious. Yep. They were large. I'm sure they were, Verna. Okay. Well, I know. Okay. We're talking about socks now. Oh, goodness. Um, so it's drying out here. The puddles are basically dried up. There's a little tiny puddle in the back by where the spring, one of the springs opened up, and it doesn't seem to be flowing, but it seems to just kind of be there. And so I'm pretty sure things are starting to settle down and move through the hill uh, and go down. So I think we're getting a couple weeks break from rain. So hopefully you get stuff done and during that time. I do need to be starting to plant. I do need to be starting to plant. I have peppers already. I'm going to plant some more peppers. And by plant, I mean indoor planting. And let's see. We're looking up last frost date, and I've been told to go later than what it says here. And then so if you're looking up your last frost date, type in last frost date, and then your zip code. And okay. Of course, it's not going to have where I am. Let's look at this. The closest. Okay, to find this. Boy, this is really complicated. April 19. But people told me to go out a month. So, April 19 is my last frost. Well, near me last frost. Anyway, so 6 to 8 weeks before your last frost is when you're supposed to plant things like tomatoes and peppers. So if you didn't look it up with that much time as I gave you to look it up while I was looking at mine, you should look it up. Yeah. Okay. I'm scrolling up. Yeah, so Verna says, heard today that in the next week you will be getting a hard cold spell. Maybe. I've been kind of following that, and it looks like maybe not this coming week, but the following week, I think is what they were saying. Yeah, which is okay as long as it doesn't get too cold. Steve had tornadoes last night and snow flurries this morning. Well, I'm glad you're okay. I didn't even know about the tornadoes. Mother Nature is deciding what's going on. Oh, Dawn's online. I mean, I know you're online. You're here, but you're looking at things. I see some really nice snow gators on Amazon. Usually snow melts off here in 1 or 2 days. 2 straight weeks or more is unusual. Okay. Yeah, here there is, I guess last week it stayed on the ground for 2 weeks, and that was unusual enough to talk about. But I don't yet know the norm here. I don't know that there is a norm here now that I'm coming in on a year like this. Yeah. All right. Homestead Matter says used to live in PA, Pennsylvania. And oh man, ticks were a whole different ball game back there. Yes, I lived in Iowa for a little bit. And yeah, I mean, people would keep a tick jar. I don't know if anybody in here does that, but there would be like a jar of alcohol that people would put the ticks in and be like, oh, there we go. I know you're supposed to keep them. I haven't ever done that for ones that I've been bit 4 times, but no bullseye. Only one was a little bigger. Pretty sure I got to all of them, before anything could transmit it. But you're supposed to keep them, and you're supposed to you can send them into a lab. I know Davis. There's a lab in Davis that will test the tick for you for Lyme's disease and probably other things. And there's other labs in other parts of the country, I'm sure. But so the 2 that I pulled off of Ringo, I kept. So this is what they told us to do, right? You put it on on index cards, what they say, but I had a piece of paper. So I put it on a piece of paper, Ringo, the date, and then I taped the tick onto it. So hopefully it didn't come out. And yeah, but I've dealt with ticks before, and it's not fun. No, thank you. And that's also another reason to wear light colored pants whenever you're out, if you can find light colored pants, because you can see ticks on them more easily. Yeah. Steve says, if I get snow, I'm taking PTO and going to live there. And oh boy. All right. All right. Well, at least he has some warm quail barn so you can stay in, right? Oh my gosh. And Verna's saying the same thing. Oh, how funny. Fun fact from JJ, possums are good at eating ticks. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. They are insectivorous, but really not. They have insectivorous teeth, which means pointy, for insects, and they also eat random things, but they are good at that. And they also don't get rabies because they're, I don't know if they get Lyme's disease. I don't know if that's a temperature dependent thing or not. They have a lower temperature, body temperature. So if something bites them with rabies, or supposedly they have a low enough temperature, it doesn't affect them. So yeah. He says, "Well, I can't swim, so I'll go much further south than that." Oh, Dawn just started planting seeds, and wait. I just start seeds. There we go. At the end of March, leave them on the porch after sprouting till planting is ready. That's good. That's good. Snow may even get to Houston, Texas. Goodness. Hopefully they're prepared. More prepared than the last iciness. Dawn says I won't be going for my outside walks for a couple of weeks here. Yeah, I advise you, not to. I guess you could apply for a job at oil rig in the Gulf. Oh my gosh, Steve. You're gonna have to learn to swim for that. Uh, Dawn says they don't care about ticks being tested, and it's Lyme disease. Okay. Um, I don't know who they is, but I do. It's not to keep track of anything else. It's to know whether or not you have it. And if you send in the ticks, they test it for it. So things might be different where you are than where I am, but there's definitely a program for that here. And all right. Possums eat more than 90% of the ticks they come into contact with and can consume up to 5,000 ticks in a single season. From Steve. Yep, in areas that ticks exist. Yeah, they're good critters to keep around. I know a lot of people don't like them. They say they eat, a lot of things we want to keep alive, but they're pretty interesting critters. Yeah. Yeah, and unlikely to carry or transmit Lyme disease. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, possums, their body temperature is lower, so I knew that about the rabies. I didn't know that about Lyme. I put that question forth, but um, I know that for the rabies, that's true. So, yeah. Anyway, talking about ticks when there's snow on the ground for you guys, huh? They're scary, ugly. They're not scary, ugly. They just like rats on a stick. But they're really good to have around, JJ says. Yeah, they are good to have around. I At my old place, I haven't seen them here yet, but at my old place, I had a mama one that would come around the fence and to the pond every day, every evening, and they are not a rat. No, they're not, but they do look like rats on sticks because when they walk, they have their tail like sticking straight out a lot of times. Yeah, yeah. Um. Oh, Dawn's dipping clothes in permethrin. Okay. Um, and Steve says they are just mean looking, act more aggressive than they really are. Well, I mean, they act more aggressive because they have to protect themselves. I mean, if you think about it, they're only this tall. And, if someone's going after them, they have to go after them. That's why they play dead too, right? Yeah, exactly, Verna. They're more afraid of you than you are of them. Exactly. They are only marsupial? Am I right in that? What are armadillos? Armadillos are weird. Yeah, they're marsupial. And they have interesting undercarriages. Let's just leave it as that. Leave it at that. You guys want to look that up? You guys can look that up on your own. Yeah, only ones in the USA. That's what I thought. That's what I had remembered that I had learned, but I also know that I don't know much about armadillos. So that is an animal I have never experienced in any way. Adam says, I'm a nerd about this kind of stuff. Lyme disease is actually caused by a bacteria. The tick is carrier. Similarly, it's hard to say tonight with black plague. Yep, yep. And it's something that can cause, if you want an interesting, okay, when I was in Illinois, I drove an hour 15 minutes to work, an hour 15 minutes back from work, just so I could have a biology job from where I was staying. And I got the library at the library. I did the book on tape, and I did book on tape. I went through like their whole entire catalog. And um, sorry, Amy Tan, she wrote the Joy Luck Club, Saving Fish from Drowning. That kind of, she's a well-known author, and she has Lyme disease, and she details in that, and she reads it herself for the audio, but she detailed in that like her experiences, and it actually affected her pretty neurologically, and after there was a span of time after that, so it can affect some really interesting things. So if you're into hearing about that. Amy Tan has it's her autobiography, and she really details out some interesting. It's kind of scary, but interesting things. Yeah. Um, yeah. I have never seen a pack of possums done. They attacked your barbecue grill once, and then at the cabin down in Missouri, a big pack came after us. Was it maybe like a mama and babies? Because I've not heard of them being in packs. Um, yeah, anything can bring a tick and drop it off their body, and that's true of any animal. Yeah, I've never seen that, so I don't. Maybe there was something wrong with those possums. um, okay, yeah, I remember you telling me about that, Steve. Steve had a possum that used to sleep on top of the quail cage. Isn't that funny? Yeah. All right. Good night, Homestead Matters. We will see you again next time, and yeah, get those chickens to lay you some eggs. Maybe get some quail. All right. All right. Yeah, Vern, I haven't heard of that either. Of possum running in packs. They've always been individuals or mom with babies. So I'm wondering if maybe that was either a different kind of animal or a different if there was something going on with that. And yeah, I think there's another element that may be missing from the equation. Adam says, made a note of it. What did I make a note of? I don't know what I made a note of. Or wait. Yeah. So anyway, possums are interesting characters. I haven't seen them here yet. I'm sure they exist here. I just haven't seen them. I've seen skunks. Um, and squirrels, although not as many squirrels as I thought I would. So I'm not sure if maybe the cats are keeping them at bay, which is fine. Um, Amy. What about Amy? I missed something about Amy. What? I don't know what I missed. Okay. And Steve is Googling. Possums can be beneficial for your garden by eating snails, slugs, insects, and sometimes even small rodents. Yep. They'll even clean up spilled garbage and fruit that has fallen off trees. Yeah, they will also um, eat any bad eggs that have gone bad. If you have a nightly visitor possum, like I did, you can put them in the spot, and they will find them and eat them up. And yeah, yep. All right, Jennifer, we will see you next time, and we'll see you also on the 19th. No one said that the 19th doesn't work, so we're going to do the 19th. All right. Um, oh, JJ. JJ thinks Don has double possums. Something's going on with them. Goodness. Um, yeah, it's like the opposite of the Baloo the bear, right? Yeah. Um, so wow, we talked about snow and ticks and possums. That's quite the range, huh? All right. Good night, Dawn. Have a good evening. Um, yeah. So there's a bunch of different things going on. So, JJ, no. Um, so yeah, most of what I've been experiencing like over the past week has been um, the house is getting leveled, and that takes time and process, and I feel like I need to be here for. And then uh, other than that, it's basically been the rabbits. The chickens are doing good, and they're doing fine. The cats are doing fine. I have a suspicion one of the baby kitties might be pregnant. I don't know. I can't pick her up or anything, and things are still scheduled out. So I am going to call tomorrow again and see if anybody's available for whoever is able to go through the procedure. Um, and we'll do that. Yeah. Verna's asking, when are your new kits? Newer. When are the new kits coming? So they should kindle. So Ravioli gets her nest box on next Monday. So it'll be day 27, 28, 29, 30. So next week, Thursday is when Ravioli's due. Risotto should have had them already. Um, she has a few more days before it's day 35. Let's see. Let's see when day 35 is. Day 35 is when they really should have had them by then. Um, let's see. I put in here. Nope. Apparently I don't have these dates in my phone. Let's see. 31 is when the nest boxes went in. So that's 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. So today's 33, 34, 35. So Wednesday. So if she doesn't have them by Wednesday, I'm going to rebreed her and rigatoni this Thursday. That's the long answer to your question. When is the French drain coming in? It doesn't come in, it's created. I don't know. It's gonna be, we're gonna have some dry time, and the person who is gonna do that, I don't know what his schedule is, and he also needs to connect up um needs to dig and pump in the front so that connects up to the house and or not the house, the septic and the leach field, and then you can do this other work. So I don't know what else is on the schedule. So yeah, there we go. It's going to happen. It honestly, now that I have things figured out and I understand what the water flow is, I'm not too concerned this year. If it gets really, really, really rainy, like a lot more than it has been, then it's going to be, you know, more interesting. But hopefully it doesn't, and hopefully now that I understand where the water is coming from, I can stay on top of it. So yeah, it might not be till later, but we might get something out of it. All right. JJ says, now I'm afraid of possums. Just don't pet any, Steve says. Oh, they're not ugly to pet. And Verna says they're cute. Yeah, they're kind of cute. They're very smart, very intelligent. Yeah. Steve says frightening when they snarl, but they prefer to run off, or play dead than do anything else. Yeah, exactly. I had some work done at my old house, and the access was on the outside of the house, and then it was like dug down. So then I had a deck, not deck, like a big step deck over top of it with a hole cut, so you could like take that out and get down. And the guys were afraid because there was a little baby possum underneath that when they opened it up. And so I'm like, okay, I'll grab a glove, which I don't think I needed, but I did anyway. And I just scruffed it and moved it away, and it was fine. Yeah. They're fine. They're good. Their babies are super cute, JJ. Yeah. But they grow into large, ugly beady-eyed mini monsters. They're just beady-eyed because they're nocturnal. Come on, give them a break. Oh man. Same thing. Okay, Steve is saying he was once cute, is what he's saying. I've never heard of anybody having him as a pet. I'm fairly sure that's probably not allowed in most places, but um, I know of someone who had a raccoon as a pet when he was little, and actually I know of two people that did that. Um, I've heard of skunks being good pets. Yeah. Um, I'm not advocating you guys go take wild animals and make them your pet, though. Oh goodness. Yeah, possums are pretty good. They're good cleaner uppers. And I think when you live with these animals, because so possums are, they're just as much in the city, maybe more in cities than out in nature. But they definitely um they have some challenges, but then you just think of it as paying your fee. Like, I'm paying my fee for you to catch rodents, for you to eat all the dead things, for you to clean up after me. You're paying your fee with all the strawberries, which is why you have a strawberry tower, because they don't climb those, as far as I know, yet. Yeah. So Verna says, "Yep, decent a skunk, and it makes a better pet than a cat." I've actually known people that have them I think it's called demusking, where you take the musk glands out, but they don't spray unless they spray. They don't stink unless they have sprayed. So, um, but yeah, I've heard of that. And they're so cute. Skunks. I was asked the other day about skunks and what they look like here. So we have striped skunks, and I don't know if they're here, but they're probably here. Spotted skunks, and that's a species that has reduced by a lot in other areas, and people just haven't really reported on presence or absence of spotted skunks because it's a skunk. Like, no one's paying attention to skunks. And I know there's some research about them right now about range and specific habitats and stuff. So there's some interesting stuff that's going to be coming out in the next few years, I think, for those people that are following that kind of information. JJ says, I've seen skunks and raccoons run in packs. Never been chased. Um, I've seen skunks in family groups, and raccoons I've seen in family groups, but I can see that they would probably get into bigger groups if they have like someone feeding them, like that lady who had like 100 show up or something, or if they are near a dump or something. But I've seen them in family groups. Yeah. Yep. And skunks are funny. So I have a couple stories here. Skunks are really funny. There's one time that I was going for a walk. This was in Illinois. I was going for a walk, and I was going up a hill, and I see this thing in the distance, and it's going across the road. 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 And this thing keeps on crossing the road, and I can't identify it. Like, and I'm a wildlife biologist. I can identify things from pretty far away if I know what they are. And I just was not identifying it. Um, but I got closer, and it was a mama skunk, and she was walking like this with four babies underneath her belly, because she was like this walking around, very uncomfortable looking. And for some reason, she needed to go back and forth across the road. And I thought to myself, well, it's no wonder you guys get hit on the road all the time. Yeah. And then one time when I was living at my grandma's, the raccoons always got into her trash. So it was always like a hassle to get into the garbage cans. We had bungee cords going everywhere, and all of that. But I heard one time I think what we heard was the neighbor's recycling getting knocked over because it just sounded like broken glass. And I thought, man, that sounds like something hit the car. So I ran over, and there was uh, a mama raccoon and 5 baby raccoons that were on the fence, and they were going away. And mama stopped, and then she stopped, and then the baby stopped, and then the next baby bumped into that one, stopped, next one bumped into that one, stopped, and they're all like squished up on this fence. And finally one of them was like trying to climb, the last one was trying to climb over the other one, like, come on guys, let's go. And it was really funny to watch because, again, they're on a fence. And then it jumped over to the tree, and then it couldn't figure out how to get back, and it had to go down and back up. It was really cute. Anyway, that was at their fluffy stage, so they were still cute. Yeah, Verna says, I have seen skunks playing with cats and running with the cats. Yep. They, especially areas that have feeding stations. Yeah. I remember when my grandma, when my grandpa was alive, they had some outdoor cats that they actually fed just inside the door, because of the skunks and the jays. I had, when I lived with my grandma, there was a jay that flew into the house because the cat food was just inside the door. It flew into the house and it landed on the chair. Like, what are you doing? But he had a Nerf gun for the skunks and the raccoons to keep them out of the cat food. Like, oh, okay. Guarded dinner time. Adam says Oregon does have spotted skunk. I've seen spotted skunk in over by Hart Mountain, and I'm guessing it's Lake County, by Lakeview-ish. I just don't know about this area. I'm assuming I'm assuming they're here probably sparsely. JJ says, yes, at a campground, they all come out at the same time after the sun goes down. Yeah, so that's like a concentrated food place. And honestly, the cleanest campground I've ever been in was at Glacier National Park, because it is a hard vehicle camping only. So you couldn't even have the soft things that pop out of your vehicle, and I was just doing it in my car, because the grizzly bears. And that was the cleanest campground I've ever seen. No trash whatsoever. And yeah, but campgrounds can be quite the garbage attractor. Yes, food will do that for a scavenger, Steve says. Exactly. Skunks can open a can with their teeth. They can. I've seen a squirrel open a peanut butter jar, danced around with it, and open it up. Came back to a camp. I did not leave the food out. Someone else did. Came back to camp, and there was a squirrel in the peanut butter jar. So we're like, how the heck did you get in there? So we closed it up and set it and walked away a little bit and watched it open it. Yeah. JJ says, so I guess the raccoon waited until the cans were opened. I don't know. I don't know. Spotted skunks are cute. They are, Verna. Steve says, were you implying that soft-sided campers are dirty? Sure sounded like it. No, soft-sided campers can get ripped into by grizzly bears, so therefore we're not allowed at the campground. That is why. That is why. Hard camping only. Yeah. Yeah, Adam says, I've only seen one spotted skunk around 10 years ago while hunting. Yeah, I've only seen one. No, I saw two. Where did I see the other one? It was somewhere in the Midwest. But I saw the one just off of Hart Mountain, and it was a long time ago. And so that's what I'm saying about the population. Their population's likely going down. And I don't think their population really was ever as big as the other one, but it might have been. I don't know. I don't know if it was a sought after fur, because the fur is really nice, but I don't know if it's sought after or not. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I kind of wonder what happened to the little skunk that used to live in my little drain. It's obviously not living there now with all the rain that we've had. It did clean it out for me though, so thanks to the skunk. Yeah, it's fun. So wildlife story time, huh? Yeah, Verna says, I think I saw a spotted skunk and thought it was a cat with a bushy tail. Spotted skunks, their bodies are much smaller than a striped skunk, and their tails look like those big plumes, like those big ostrich feathers, like the hats, the old time hats with the plume. It looks like that. They're very um, artsy looking. Yeah, but they're fun. Um, yeah. So is anybody doing any inside gardening? I know Dawn says she does her water stuff inside. Is anybody doing any gardening inside yet? Are you planting anything yet? Um, I have not yet. Steve says a spotted skunk is listed as vulnerable just before endangered. Under what? Is that the red list? Because the red list doesn't have really anything to do with the United States. JJ says, I only overwinter some plants. That's okay. I have my peppers in the other room. Yep. Um, and Verna says, as soon as I get my freeze dryer moved, I will be planting. As only then will I be able to get the table up. That's good. That's good. Yeah. So red list, I will tell you as someone who works in the endangered and threatened species um, landscape, I guess. Red list doesn't have any bearing on anything as far as U.S. law. Um, it may indicate things that are completely true, but it doesn't actually have any bite to it here. Yeah. Adam says I'm starting cold crops. Is that cold? Cold crops, mainly cabbage this weekend indoors. Ooh, is now when we're supposed to do that? Teach me, Adam. I haven't done a spring garden here yet. Um, okay. So maybe I should start doing that. Yeah. JJ says I'll be working on my WV, West Virginia? Wait, West Virginia home, so don't see I'll be able to tend to plants. All right. All right. Yeah, Verna, there's endangered species in the United States is a very interesting topic and it's part of my job, so I can talk about some of that stuff. But um, in the United States, I don't remember it's 5 things. There's 4 or 5 reasons why a species can be listed, and they only have to qualify for one. Some of them have all of them and are not listed. And there's reasons for that. Like one of them would be like the greater sage grouse. It's not listed because and it has a huge history of potential to be listed, like it being pushed for that. But it's not because what's in place right now in its habitat is actually working. And what the endangered species program does is it identifies areas basically that need funding. I mean, that's really what it's about. It's about protecting the species, but it's about funding for habitat acquisition, habitat management, all of that. It's about more than that, but that's one of the things. But with the sage grouse, there are coalitions between state, federal, and local people and ranchers and stuff like that that have they're actually working together, and what they're doing is benefiting everyone. So the ranchers are benefiting, the species is benefiting, and in some cases BLM is involved in that, Bureau of Land Management, and they are also able to do things in conjunction with preserving these areas or restoring these areas. So that's one reason why like they aren't going to be listed, is because what is in place right now for restoration, for species recovery, is actually working. Um, and um, then you have other reasons like, hey, if we do this, then farmers won't be able to farm. Or hey, if we do this, then this won't, like, there's some other things that don't make as much sense as to why they don't get listed. And so it's all about stakeholders, which I don't think is how it was originally written. Another, yeah, we can go off of that, but we're gonna not do that. So there we go. Let's see. US cares about money. Yep. Okay. Adam says my starting times are different than his. OSU extension for your county. They are pretty on point per county. My county is pretty wide, and Douglas County. It carries a lot of different things. So, but I will look at that. Thank you. Steve says animals don't vote or pay taxes. Well, animals don't donate either. Jay says, "Oh my gosh." Yep. Yep. Um, yeah, and it's not just animals; it's plants too. So that's a whole nother topic. uh, but luckily, there are some things with both plants and animals that are endangered and threatened stuff to do surveys and stuff. There's all sorts of protocols and all of that, but people are actually using scent dogs, scent detection dogs, narcotic dogs, dogs that are scenting these things out, and they can be trained. Last time I talked to someone who did this, they said 4 different scents is what each dog is trained on. I'm sure they could do many more, but they actually are trained to respond when they come upon, or when they send out the scat, the poo of an individual, or it could be a plant. And you think, wow, they can smell plants. Well, yeah, they can smell everything. So that's a really interesting thing. I was involved in a project that, I mean, I wasn't out with the dogs, but I got to see the data that they collected. And that was a while ago, but that was pretty impressive to see that they everything they could smell out. There was one story one of the ladies gave of just how impressive this is. They're looking for kit fox, San Joaquin kit fox scat, little tiny fox that is endangered or threatened, endangered, whatever. And it so the dog sits whenever it finds something, and uh, they her dog sat, and she looked around. She's like, "No, you're wrong. There's nothing here." And then she tried to go, and he like stood up and he sat down again, and did that several times. And finally, this dog slams its front paw down onto a cow patty, flips the patty over, exposes a kit fox poo underneath the patty. So all that time, he was right, and she just didn't see it. So their noses are amazing, and you cannot hide. So don't even try. Yeah, and they're trained so well. So yeah. Um, yeah, the animals being able to support themselves. Yeah. Monarch butterfly is just now, it's going to be listed. They're just kind of figuring out what it should be listed as, endangered or threatened. And I'm guessing it's only going to be the Western population. I don't know if you guys want to hear any of this. Tell me if you don't want to hear it. There's for monarch butterflies, there's an eastern population which is east of the Rocky Mountains, and there's a western population which is west of the Rocky Mountains. They overwinter in different places. A lot of the overwintering habitat for the western population is in California, and a lot of like basically every overwintering place is counted, and they count it every year. Um, I mean, there's butterflies that have little tiny stickers on them that are IDs, so they know where they go from and all that. And it was it's really interesting, monarchs in general, and I am interested in how they look at besides protecting overwintering populate or habitats. I will be interested to see how they actually propose to protect the species, because it basically goes from in the population I'm looking at, um, coastal California population, overwintering population, and then 4 generations is what it takes them to go north, and then one generation goes south and overwinters. So its great great grandparents didn't even tell it how to get there. Plus, it never knew its mother, right? I mean, I don't know how they get back to the same places. It's really, really interesting, though. Anyway, enough about monarchs. Uh, JJ says, I had a dog that did not like pot and would growl at anybody that smelled like it. I knew which teenagers my kids couldn't hang with. Oh boy. Should have trained that dog for more things. You could have made some bucks training it to smell out things. Oh man. Well, I understand that. I understand that. Yeah, dogs are amazing. They really are. They are amazing. Um, I will be getting a dog. It's going to be after some of the stuff is figured out for inside the house and all that. Yeah, exactly, Steve. Exactly. Mm. Oh man. Um, but yeah, I grew up with dogs. I grew up with 2 dogs, and I've always wanted a dog. I always wanted that. And when I was at my last property, I kind of made limitations for myself for some reason. I said, after these things are done, and the third thing never got done. Um, so at least what I'm saying, after this thing is done, it's a reachable goal that is happening. So yeah. Um, Steve says, are you going to be prepared and get a livestock guardian dog? I'm not going to get a livestock guardian dog. Right now, that's not in my goal. My goal is for myself and for, you know, uh, companion and a little protection. But yeah, I'm not going to get a little tiny thing. Those aren't like real dogs. It'll be a real dog. But no, I'm not looking at livestock guardian dog. I don't have livestock in a field yet. I will be hopefully getting goats at some point next year. This year. It's this year now. Boy, I'm not prepared for that yet. But yeah, not right now. JJ says, yep, she was a long-haired deer nose runt chihuahua. Okay. She also did med alerts on me all without training. They absolutely they absolutely pick up on so many things. And you know what's funny about the scent dog program, like, well, it's multiple programs, but what's funny about that is that these dogs, they're the rejects. They don't breed for it. It's not like there's a breeder that's saying, I breed scent dogs. Maybe there is, but that's not generally where people get them from. Generally, they are the unadoptable dogs, quotation marks around that, from shelters that get returned over and over again because they have a high drive. Those dogs have the high drive. They need to have a job. And if they need to have a job, they'll be on the job, and they have good reward. I mean, their job is reward based. They do a job, they find the stuff, and then they get a reward, and the reward is play. And they have, they have to be like ball obsessed, or the ropes, or whatever toy they like. If they're toy obsessed and they have a good nose, that is really, really good for a scent dog. So there's all sorts of different kinds, which is interesting. Verna says Ringo wants to be the house pet to keep your mice away. He doesn't. If he did, if he was in the house, I would have to trim his nails. No, I think he could become that if, later in life or something. But no, he has been in the house a couple times when I've been moving stuff in and out. I've just left the door open, and he comes in like this, and then he runs out. So he's definitely outdoor. Yeah. And Steve says female cats make for better hunters. Why? Like lions? I have not heard about that. Living my best life at 60. Welcome. Says hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Let us know where you're from, what you're growing, what you're hoping to grow. We are talking all sorts of different things today. Usually we talk homesteading stuff. We're talking random things now, which is fine. All right. Not a show dog. Yeah, JJ. Yep. They have to feed and teach their kittens. Okay. Well, but the kittens learned. But you're saying they have to be extra successful at hunting? Maybe. It's funny. So Penne, the one that she just lost, well, there was one baby that didn't make it on the wire, and there's one baby that didn't make it in the nest box. So, and I found them on the same day at separate times because she had the one on the wire and then didn't have the other ones for a while. So I'm guessing that one was not living when it came out. But I put that in an area for the kittens, and of course they didn't want to come near it until I was gone. So I don't know who actually got that one. But in the evening, the one in the nest box, I found that. I said, okay, well, I'm going to give it to a kitten because might as well, right? We want. I did not give it to them then. I gave it to them in their bowl. That's very important. I don't want them to associate that is where the food's coming from, even if they know it. They know it's in their bowl. But it's funny because I give it to the little gray one, and I give it, and it had a really hard time. Like, okay, am I supposed to lick this? Okay, I'm gonna lick it, and then finally kind of got it, and then it ran away with it and went underneath the car. But the next day, and you guys will see this, I videoed. The next day, I went into the rabbits, and I had already fed the cats, and that kitten was missing, so I didn't know where it was or whatever. And sometimes when it's missing, it's just underneath my car and I can't see it. But it came with me into the rabbit area, and it's and so I'm like, what are you doing? Everybody else is eating. You have food in your bowl. And so then I was done with the rabbits, and I thought, okay, I'll show you where it is in your bowl. And as I was walking down from the rabbits to the house, it kept on stopping and looking back at me and stopping and looking back at me. I think it thought I had another rabbit for it. I did not, but I think it made the association. It's a very smart cat. Anyway, there you go. Steve says the females have stronger motivation to hunt due to the needs to feed their kittens, leading to a more focused and efficient hunting style. That makes sense. Adam says, I have a mixed breed between pit bull, boxer, and lab that I'm training as a scent dog. With help, her reward is playing catch. She's obsessed with tennis balls. Yep. What are you training her to scent on? I don't know if that's appropriate, how to say it. Scent on? To respond to? I don't know what it's called. Anyway, yeah. What are you training her too. That is awesome. Steve says the cat walked in front of you. Mine likes to walk around and between my legs, trying to trip me. This is the kitten. This is the kitten that is least trustful of me. And it actually it smelled my hand after I showed it where the food is. It went up there, and I held up my hand, and it smelled it like, oh, is there something there? So I'm maybe gaining it the trust through the tummy. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, Ringo definitely, he has tripped me before. Yeah. Verna says, Mama Kitty, a black cat. I have a Mama Kitty that's a white cat. Would catch mice and would bring the live mice to my oldest, trying to teach my daughter how to hunt. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. I've been left shrews, so I don't know if they don't eat any of the shrews or if they don't like them or if they're gifts or what, but they do dispatch them, and sometimes I find them, but yeah. And I don't know. I mean, so shrews have, is it venom? I think it's venom or poison. The on the in the back teeth. That's been fairly recently discovered that more mammals than we think are I think it's venomous because there's a platypus with the spurs, and then there's the back of the teeth. I don't actually know if the teeth are saliva, but anyway. So I wonder if they're eating it because of that, or just I don't know why. Yeah. Steve says mine likes to leave dead moles at the door so we don't go hungry. You poor clawless animal. Okay, so Adam says where we've been working with Human Scent, hoping to get her help with search and rescue. That is awesome. That is very awesome. So there's a lot of hide and seek, huh? Yeah. No, that's impressive. Dogs are wonderful. Yeah, Verna, they are gifts. I think so. I think so. Yes, I've seen a video of Lucy catching moles. That's impressive. Every once in a while, Ringo will go run out and stick his front legs in a gopher hole. You can see like the grass is moving or something. I don't know if he's ever successful. I know there's gophers out there. I don't know if they're there right now. They're pretty flooded out. But yeah, yeah. I know we have gophers. I know there are shrews just because I've seen the dead ones that the cats leave me. And the one up there on the road. I don't know what that was about. It could have been one of the cats. It could have been an owl dropped it. I don't know. But yeah. Um, but they're good. They are good. Yeah, there's a lot of things I would teach a dog that people don't usually teach them, like go find someone, go find whatever. Because if you fall and you get hurt and you need the help, I mean, having a dog there is nice, but if you can tell that dog, to go find or go get someone, then that is a valuable thing, you know. Um, I know one of my old neighbors, she did look, so she would put her finger right here. She said look, and that was a really good one to teach because before she would let her dog go off leash, she would say look, and she would have to look her in the eyes, which can be hard for a dog, before the leash came off. And before she just ran away, she would have her look back several times just to know that she was paying attention to her. Um, yeah. Yeah, and she actually did teach her go find, but I guess it's the go get that I think would be interesting. Like go find Steve. Well, I mean not in Mississippi, but let's say you're somewhere on the property, your next door neighbor, whatever. Hey, go find Steve. Okay, well, they could go find you, but go get would mean like go find this person and bring them to me. That would be a really good thing. Yeah. Steve says, if I had to depend on one of these dogs to go get help. Oh, No. Verna says Lucy went and got Kristen when she could get me. Yeah, in the porta potty. Yeah, so she's worried for you when she couldn't get you. Yeah. Um, yeah. I mean they know what to do, but yeah. JJ says mine does go get my hubby because he can't hear. So and there's tons of things that we can teach dogs without actually like on purpose teaching them. I taught my grandma's dog, which might as well have been my dog. I was there through her whole experience. Um, my grandma adopted an older dog, which was full of life. I think she was a puppy mill mama because she was pretty stretched out. She had never played with a frisbee. That was very evident. And then once she figured out that she could play with it, what it was, she's like, "Oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever." Um, I think she knew what a ball was, but I don't think she had very much ball time, and she loved balls. But yeah, taught her a lot of things and then talking in sentences, not just this or that. Yes, it's good to have, the key words in there, but talking in full sentences is really, I think, where it's at because you can give your dog, the dog's going to get a little bit more. And then vocabulary is more than you think it is, I'm sure. But it's funny because I was over at an old neighbor's house when I still lived down there, and her dog um, pillow meant crate, so like go to the crate. They just didn't like to use that word. They wanted to use like the pillow is in there. That's where you go when hey, we're going to turn the vacuum on. You need to go in there, or hey, you're being a little much. Go there. And so they would say pillow. And we were just talking. We were in the backyard talking, and the dogs were behind us. You were on the bench, and dogs were behind us, and we were just talking, and in the conversation, she said the word pillow, but it wasn't directed at anything. It was a part of the sentence. And we see him, he gets up, he's all like, and he walks up, and he walks up the stairs of the house, and he goes in the house, and she looks at me like, what just happened? And it took a few seconds to be like, you said the word pillow. And then we laughed. And we went inside immediately and we told him what a good boy he was to find his pillow and good boy and come on out. But it was pretty funny. Yeah. Um, Brenna says, if someone calls me and says they will be visiting at a certain time, about 10 minutes before that time, Lucy will watch the door waiting for that person. Yep. They know what's going on. They know what's going on for sure. Yep. Cave. That's what you use for Lucy? Yeah. We never had, well, we had outdoor dogs growing up. Um, they had the carport and stuff, but they never came in except when an egg fell on the floor, and they knew exactly which room to go to. They knew exactly what that meant when we opened the door and said, "Go to the kitchen." Yeah, yeah. And Steve says, "We say bed." Yeah, and JJ says, "Room." It doesn't really matter what that word is because the dog doesn't have any you know, preconceived notions about what certain words mean. But only for Chip the Dorito dog. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That is it's just an interesting thing because they do listen to our language. Um, Adam says Bailey's command is find when we give her a scent. Scent training is a big leap from all the rest of my previous pet dog training. Absolutely, it would be. I have zero experience in that, and it definitely would be a big leap. So did you take a course in that, or did you are you doing it on your own, or like how are there different methods? I'm sure there's different methods, but um, yeah. So JJ's Adam is training human scent. He's trying to train or is training the dog to help with search and rescue is what his goal is. So Yeah, that's when they like give a t-shirt to a dog, they smell it, and then they like go off. Yeah. I bet that's an interesting training to be involved in. Yeah, I think so too. Sweet, JJ says. Yeah. So I'm not there yet for a dog. I will be, but in the meantime, neighbor's dog is a good dog. Keeps watch. Um, JJ says mine can find food on the floor. Oh, that's great, JJ. You are in a good mood today, aren't you? Yeah. Um, yeah. So when I'm more uh, at the time that I'm going to be doing that, I will. Uh, I'll be asking you guys things you can think of to train a dog, because I know what I want to do. I know the kinds of things I want to do, but there might be some commands you guys think of. Um, I'm not asking that right now because I might not remember right now. But yeah, yeah. World's best vacuum cleaner. Yep. Chip can too. If I pointed at him and pushed it around a little bit, oh my gosh. Yep. And Verna says, lately Lucy has been wanting all the pets, all the pots or pans that I have cooked in. Oh, when I'm finishing dinner. Yeah. Just lately? Not all the time? Oh wow. Steve says our younger dog taught our older dog how to play fetch. That is awesome. That is awesome. Yeah. Um, so my grandma's dog that she adopted, it was kind of the same thing. Like she didn't have those play, like once she figured out what play was, then she had a blast. But it was kind of sad to see that majority of her life she didn't have that. But she got it at the end, so that's good. Last few years. Yeah. Um Roberta says best reason to get a dog is when your baby is at the age they start eating in a high chair. Well, I'm not planning on having a baby, so there you go. Um, oh, so jealousy drove that, Steve. She'd never fetch for us until she saw how much fun he had doing it. Wow. Wow. Oh, wow. Verna says lately she has been growl whining when I don't give it to her. I wonder if something's going on with her nutritionally, like her absorption. Interesting. JJ says Mike can search out Mexican food. Oh my gosh. No, Steve. Oh, wow. Well, hopefully Lucy's okay and that, all of that. Oh, she just loves what you eat. Okay. Your cooking style maybe has changed or has gotten better for her. Right. Right, Steve. You're funny. All right, guys. Well, let's see. We have one more. As Adam says, I have some friends that train dogs professionally, and I'm getting advice from them. That is wonderful. That is wonderful. Um, yeah, that's really good. Um, that would be really, really interesting. When did you start doing that? Like, are you beginning? Are you in the middle somewhere? Is she experienced? I'm just wondering, like, track the progress of that. Might be interesting. Yeah. And JJ says, I bet, well, you will succeed. That is good. Yeah. No, and that's going to take a lot of work, I would think, to train that way. Yes, Steve is doing that, JJ. um, I mean, I would call him cultured if that's what he's looking for. You know, some good food. That's cultured. How funny. All right, have a good night, Verna. Thank you for coming and moderating. And I think it might be time to say goodnight to everyone. International. All right, guys, we will see you next Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. For Katrina's Kits, we are doing the 19th, which is a Sunday, and we're doing lasagna. So I will look for my cookbook tonight. That is my goal after I get off of this, and because I do have a fun thing. So I have a really fun. I don't know if it's fun, but I like the recipe. I do double the meat in it. That is something, or actually, I do double the meat and the sauce in it. So that's something I do. But it's a good one, which means I need to go into town to get ingredients. All right. It has been 2 hours, Steve. It has. It's more than 2 hours. JD says, good night, all. Good seeing everybody. Yep, everyone. Adam says she's just under a year old and is doing amazing. Winter makes it hard to train in the mountains. But that's probably one of the most things you need to learn is to smell underneath the snow, right? Yeah. Yeah. Steve, are you making the ricotta from scratch? No, I'm not. I'm not. That I will buy. I don't have a cow to milk, and I'm not milking the rabbits. Don't ask me to do that. All right, guys. We will see you next Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. And for Katrina's Kits, we will see you then, and then also on the 19th. So at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So I will see you guys later and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thanks for coming.